Hello, my name is Boniface Kunda, a student at Evinon College, studying audio and music technology. In this video, I'm actually going to run you through on how I created my musical loop, which is my a bass loop in this case. So what you're basically looking at right now is my VCV rack. So in this VCV rack, of course, for me to be able to come up with that bass loop, I had modules, of course. So these are my modules that you can see right here, as my case is moving around everywhere. So the first module that I have is simply the clock. The clock, I'm using the clock for my tempo. Is simply the master tempo and timing, of course. So nothing much on the clock. So as you can see, my BPM was set to about 130, and then my cables started running from the run. I sent it straight into my sec3, and then from the BPM again it went through the tempo because I wanted to have control from this side, not really this side. Yeah, and then that's just basically it about the clock. The next module that I have is the sec3. On the sec3, what we have here, so the sec3 is actually used to generate voltages, I would say. So this is simply what generates voltages. So the sec3 has what we call has 8 steps and 3 channels. So these are the steps. So from here, which is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, again just like that. So channel 1, which is CV1 here, is controlling this row from step 1 up to step 8, just like that. Channel 2, just like that. And then here, this is where we have my tempo knob, and then here we have a step. I'm not even using this much. This is where we place run for you to be able to hear how the loop and the bass loop sound. So before I go any further, let me just play it for a few seconds, and then I can just cut it and then continue explaining. Okay, so yeah. So channel 1, which is CV1 on the sec3, is actually responsible for controlling pitch. It controls the pitch. So, and then channel 2, which is CV2, this one controls filter movements. And last we have CV3, which is channel 3. This channel 3 actually is responsible for control loudness or the timbre stuff. So channel 2 controls this row, and then channel 3 control. So now my cable came from channel 1, which is CV1. This is where a pitch is being controlled, and then it went straight into the octave of quantizer. So I introduced the quantizer simply because the quantizer is actually responsible to control the pitch that comes from the sec3 into musical notes, or the run voltage that comes from the sec3 into musical notes that you'll be able to perceive and be able to tell the notes. As you can see, as you have read on how the bass loop was actually sounding, you're able to hear on each and every note is sounding. Is because of this, is actually converting that into a musical notes that we're able to identify and perceive with our ears. So yeah, my out. So, and then let me just take you back a little bit. So on the steps, I played with them I tweaked them a little bit based on how I wanted my bass loop to actually bounce. Yeah, so that was how just in case you are wondering what these knobs are, why are they looking like this. Yeah. And then my step knob is actually at the end because I wanted to play from all the way from here to here. Because if I move it like this, meaning I'm actually cutting off, like it won't play as in the whole thing. It will be, example, if I introduce 5 steps, meaning it will move from here to the 5th step, just like that. So just wanted it to play as in, yeah. So on the quantizer here, my out goes straight into the octave of the VCO. The VCO, by VCO, is simply mean voltage control oscillator. This is an oscillator, and an oscillator, basically, this is a sound generator. So the VCO actually generates, it actually generates waveforms, raw waveforms. So in this case, I actually generated a sine tone, which has a single fundamental frequency. So for that ability, and because of the musical group I wanted to come up with, it was actually fit to be used. Yeah. So that was how. So now my cable is running from the sine tone itself, going straight into the filter. I introduced the VCF, which is the voltage control filter, and this filter is actually responsible for brightening or brightening of the sound. Yeah. So I actually did my cutoff was about 300.98 hertz, and my resonance was treated to about 43 to 976%, and then my drive is about 124.34%. And then, yeah, did my cut, added my release to about 14%, and then negative 45%, which was my cut, and the drive as usual was about 21.33%. So in this case, because I wanted to actually filter, I decided to filter the low pass filter here. So I moved my cable from the low pass filter. It went straight into my VCA. The VCA is actually responsible for your controlling the loudness, yeah, and then takes in the gate of an ADSR, making sure that each node does dynamic. So and then here on the VCA, nothing much is happening. My cable went from here with the envelope into the envelope of the ADSR, which is by ADSR, we simply mean attack, decay, sustain, and release. So yeah, so that is just basically it. So the ADSR, the job of the function of ADSR is it actually shapes the note itself. It's responsible for shaping the note. It actually shapes the note, and then it's also triggered by the gate on the 6-3. As you can see even here, my cable moved from the trigger here, it went straight into the gate of an ADSR. So and then the ADSR is actually responsible in shaping how each and every note should actually start, sustain, and actually release or fades. So decay stuff. So and then my envelope is going straight into the VCA, which is the voltage control amplifier. I mean, so and then the next module that we have is the scope. The scope is actually used for visualization. So in order for me to be able to see and visualization purposes on how the waveform itself is actually moving. So as you can see, if I run, it's So as you can see here on the screen here, it's showing you on how the wave is actually moving. So yeah, and then as you can see, it was actually showing you on how the wave was moving. So and then last but not the least, we actually, or before that, we have a reverb here. I needed some reverb, so I added the reverb, the X reverb. So and then my mid was about 2.63 seconds, and then I had my bit of my low. I had to cut it off a bit because of the desired sound that I wanted to get at the end of the day was it required me to remove much of that. So and then before that, again, before the audio, we have here, right here, this module, we have the recorder here. I'm using this recorder to record the sound that is being played. Yeah. And then oh, just one more thing. Again, here we have the cable thing. I'm using this the color cable for my cables, just to make sure that I don't get lost in terms of colors and stuff. Yeah. And then last, we have the audio. So this audio is actually used for what is this is where we're routing. It actually routes the stereo signal, and then it sends that stereo signal into the speakers, and then that's what we're able to perceive. Yeah. And then so the audio is actually the final output. Thank you so very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.